At the core of the relentless Taklamakan Desert, where endless sand dunes meet fierce winds and blistering heat, China carried out a feat that stunned engineers worldwide. It carved a railway network stretching over 2,000 kilometers, cutting directly through billions of tons of constantly moving sand to form one of the longest rail systems ever built in a desert landscape. Constructing railway tracks in such an environment is already an extreme test of engineering. Yet this project went even further. With a price tag exceeding $3.5 billion, more than 12,000 workers, and nearly 10 years of construction, the Taklamakan Railway became far more than a transportation link between distant oasis towns. It emerged as a powerful symbol of humanity's drive to challenge nature and redefine what engineering can achieve. But that raises a critical question: how do you secure steel rails on top of a surface that never truly stands still? For decades, China's northwestern frontier, stretching across Xinjiang within the Tarim Basin, remained largely untouched on the national map. This vast and remote region is framed by two massive mountain ranges and dominated by the Taklamakan Desert, an expanse covering more than 127,000 square miles. During summer, ground temperatures can climb beyond 160 degrees Fahrenheit, while in winter they can plunge to -13. There is no natural water supply, no power grid, and no solid ground. Every step rests on sand that shifts endlessly underfoot, making traditional construction nearly impossible. Yet beneath this harsh sea of dunes lie enormous untapped reserves: oil, coal, and, most importantly, rare earth minerals that are essential to modern technology and global industry. These resources are widely seen as the backbone of modern technological power. Gaining access to them forced China to confront a hard truth: there was no conventional solution. The only path forward was to attempt what had long been considered impossible: building a railway straight through the desert itself. That challenge gave rise to the Hoan Rukiang Railway, an 890-kilometer line that forms a key section of the Taklamakan Desert Loop, a massive 2,685-kilometer circular railway tracing the desert's southern boundary. Completed in June 2022, it now holds the title of the longest railway ever constructed across a desert environment. The project began with a task as basic as it was monumental: reshaping the desert floor. Hundreds of bulldozers rolled into the dunes, flattening the uneven terrain to carve out a viable construction corridor. Tall sand ridges were cut down, while loose material was pushed into lower areas, carefully redistributing millions of tons of sand. The objective was clear: create a level, balanced surface capable of supporting heavy construction equipment without sinking or collapse. Every section was meticulously graded under strict oversight. Survey teams continuously measured elevation and slope, ensuring consistency across vast stretches of open desert. Conveyor systems carried excess sand away from the work zone, while compacting machines gently pressed the surface layer, transforming loose dunes into a firm, workable base. But leveling alone wasn't enough. The sand still needed to be stabilized. Engineers discovered that introducing water into the loose surface helped the individual grains bind together, forming a denser and more cohesive layer. Using extended sprinkler arms and underground piping networks, controlled amounts of groundwater were evenly distributed across the site, allowing moisture to soak several inches deep. Once the sand reached the optimal moisture level, massive rollers moved in. Their weight compressed the surface, forcing out trapped air and locking the sand particles firmly together. With each pass, the once shifting desert floor began to take shape as a stable foundation, built entirely from sand and water. The deep, steady roar of steel rollers spread across the desert as each pass transformed loose, drifting sand into a solid, even surface. Under the relentless sun, the compacted ground gradually dried and hardened, becoming strong enough to support the immense weight of cranes, concrete mixers, and supply vehicles. What emerged was a stable foundation created using nothing more than sand, water, and precision engineering. With the surface secured, crews moved on to the next layer. Dump trucks unloaded vast amounts of reddish soil, which bulldozers carefully spread and leveled across the compacted sand. This added mass pressed down on the layers below, increasing stability and preventing movement caused by heat, vibration, or heavy loads. Every section was evenly distributed and tightly compacted, forming a dense, reliable base capable of supporting the earliest phases of construction in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Once the ground platform was fully reinforced, work began on the bridge foundations. Engineers drilled through tens of feet of loose sand, pushing deep until they reached firm gravel or compacted soil hidden below the dunes. Reinforced concrete pile drivers operated around the clock, using steel casing pipes and bentonite slurry to prevent the boreholes from collapsing as drilling progressed. Concrete was poured from the bottom upward through tremie pipes, eliminating air pockets and ensuring uniform strength. At the same time, steel reinforcement cages were lowered into position with millimeter-level accuracy, because even the smallest deviation could compromise the pile's stability or cause long-term structural failure. With temperature swings exceeding 130 degrees Fahrenheit between day and night, most of the work was carried out after sunset, when winds weakened and sandstorms subsided. Anchored by these deep steel-reinforced concrete piles, the railway's foundations effectively grew roots beneath the desert, locking the structure firmly into the shifting landscape. Rising from those deep foundations, more than 11,000 bridge piers began to take shape, row after row, forming an immense concrete forest stretching across the desert. Each pillar stood between 16 and 50 feet tall. The vertical shafts were cast using slip-form systems, reinforced with galvanized steel and enhanced with salt-resistant additives to survive the desert's highly corrosive environment. The short, uniform spacing between piers was carefully engineered to reduce stress from high winds and extreme temperature swings. As the sun dipped behind the Kunlun Mountains, endless lines of pillars extended toward the horizon, a skeletal framework of steel and concrete standing firm against the relentless desert winds. Above these pier caps, thousands of pre-stressed concrete box girders were hoisted into position using massive crawler cranes or self-launching gantry systems. Each girder stretched over 100 feet in length and weighed several hundred tons. Transported on specialized flatbed rail carriers, they were lifted and set into place one by one. Engineers aligned every girder with laser-guided accuracy, maintaining tolerances of just a few millimeters. Once secured, construction crews poured bridge deck slabs or installed precast concrete panels, creating a seamless surface ready to support the railway tracks. The spacing beneath each span was deliberately designed to allow wind to flow freely, sweeping drifting sand away so it could never accumulate or bury the line. As a result, more than 65% of the Hoan Rukiang Railway, nearly 310 miles, runs atop these elevated viaducts. Seen from above, the railway resembles a slender silver ribbon slicing through a vast ocean of golden sand, a living monument to human ingenuity set against one of the harshest landscapes on Earth. The next components to be installed were the concrete blocks known as sleepers, or railroad ties. Positioned at precise intervals along the track bed, they serve a critical role, holding the steel rails firmly in place while spreading the enormous weight of passing trains evenly across the foundation. Crews carefully aligned each sleeper, then used lifting frames to gently lower the rails onto their exact positions. Once anchored and secured, the sleepers kept the track perfectly straight and stable, preventing bending, shifting, or deformation under heavy loads, a vital step before trains could safely operate across the desert terrain. With the sleepers locked in place, rail installation began. Each steel rail, stretching more than 260 feet in length, was hoisted into position by specialized cranes and guided carefully along the designated center line. Workers fine-tuned every joint and expansion gap, allowing the steel to expand and contract smoothly under extreme desert temperatures. The fastening clips were then tightened, locking the rail securely onto the concrete base. This phase demanded relentless precision and endurance. Completing the hundreds of miles of track across the desert required nearly 11 months of uninterrupted work, transforming an empty expanse of sand into a fully operational railway corridor. Once the sleepers were firmly secured, crews moved on to laying the steel rails above them. Each rail, stretching more than 260 feet in length, was lifted into position by specialized cranes and carefully guided along the track's center line. Workers fine-tuned every joint and expansion gap, allowing the steel to respond smoothly to extreme heat, before tightening the fastening clips that locked the rails directly onto the concrete base. Completing hundreds of miles of track across the desert demanded extraordinary precision and endurance, taking nearly 11 months of non-stop work. With the final bridge span in place, the railway entered its most critical stage, testing. Engineering trains repeatedly traveled the full route, measuring ground settlement, vibration levels, rail temperature, and wind-induced movement. The bridges were subjected to load tests using trains weighing thousands of tons. Even after hundreds of test runs, elevation changes measured only a few millimeters. Thanks to the elevated design and constant airflow beneath the viaducts, drifting sand never accumulated on the tracks. Every section of the railway was continuously monitored in real time. Data streamed back to the control center through IoT sensors and solar-powered cameras, tracking performance across the entire line. After 6 months of intensive testing, the Hoan Rukiang Railway officially opened in June 2022, completing the 1,685-kilometer loop encircling the Taklamakan Desert. In the United States, most railway lines are still constructed using traditional methods, with thick layers of crushed stone, known as ballast, laid beneath the rails. Though simple in appearance, ballast plays a vital role. It spreads the weight of passing trains, stabilizes the track structure, and allows rainwater to drain away from the rail bed. China, however, has chosen a very different approach. On its next-generation high-speed railways, loose stone has been replaced by a continuous concrete foundation called slab track. In this system, rails are mounted directly onto the concrete surface, aligned with laser guidance, and installed using fully automated machinery. Rather than relying on shifting stones, the entire track becomes a single, unified structure, stronger, longer-lasting, and remarkably precise. This advanced design allows Chinese high-speed trains to operate smoothly at speeds exceeding 350 km per hour. Now, let's head to the construction site to see how thousands of miles of railway are actually built. The process begins with preparing the subgrade. Multiple layers of soil and gravel are carefully graded and compacted until a solid foundation is formed, typically between 2 and 4 feet deep, depending on the terrain and the loads the trains are expected to carry. Once this base reaches the required strength, engineers move on to the next critical layer, the ballast. Unlike concrete, ballast is not bonded into a solid mass. It remains loose by design, allowing it to absorb vibrations from passing trains and let rainwater drain freely through the track bed. Building just 1 mile of railway requires nearly 3,500 tons of ballast, about 7 million pounds of crushed stone. This material is released from specialized hopper cars and then spread evenly using a ballast regulator. Equipped with plow blades, rotating brushes, and laser-guided leveling systems, the machine shapes the stone into precise profiles. Modern regulators, produced by manufacturers such as Plaza and Thor, can operate with minimal human involvement, automatically adjusting height and slope in a matter of minutes. Once distributed, powerful vibratory compactors press the ballast into place, forming a dense yet flexible foundation. Depending on ground conditions and terrain, completing just 0.6 of a mile of track can take anywhere from several hours to several days. After the ballast has been evenly spread and roughly leveled, crews move on to installing the sleepers, the structural elements that define and lock in the exact alignment of the railway. In most modern rail projects, this step is carried out by automated sleeper laying machines, ensuring speed, consistency, and precision across long distances. Using powerful hydraulic clamps, the machine lifts each sleeper, typically weighing between 600 and 700 pounds, and places it precisely at its marked position along the track bed. Spaced roughly 2 feet apart, these sleepers are installed with extraordinary efficiency. In a single work shift, the system can accurately position more than 2,000 sleepers, maintaining consistent alignment over long distances. Sleepers can be produced from several materials. Traditional versions are made from timber, pressure-treated with creosote oil to resist decay and dampen vibration. However, their service life is relatively short, usually limited to 20 to 30 years. Today, reinforced concrete sleepers have become the industry standard, heavier, stronger, and capable of lasting more than 50 years while supporting significantly greater loads. For maintenance and track renewal projects, engineers often turn to panel track systems, which consist of factory-assembled rail and sleeper sections that can be installed rapidly on site. Once thousands of sleepers have been accurately positioned along the prepared route, the next major phase begins: rail installation. Each steel rail, typically measuring between 78 and 80 feet in length and weighing around 130 pounds per foot, is delivered to the site on specialized transport vehicles known as rail trains. Modern railway construction frequently relies on continuous welded rail, or CWR, long steel segments that are pre-welded at the factory, with individual lengths reaching up to 1/4 of a mile. At the construction site, the rail train slowly feeds these massive steel ribbons from the rear, while hydraulic winches pull them forward and guide them into position along the track bed. Workers carefully steer the rails as they slide over the ballast, placing them directly on top of each sleeper and securing them temporarily with steel clips or pins. Once alignment is verified, the rail tensioning process begins. Hydraulic tensioning machines stretch or anchor the rails to compensate for thermal expansion and contraction, a critical step that prevents future warping, buckling, or structural failure under extreme temperature changes. Once the rails are perfectly positioned, the next step is installing the rail fastening system, a network of precision components that locks the entire track structure firmly in place. Each fastening assembly consists of a steel base plate, a rubber pad, spring clips, and anchor bolts. The base plate spreads the load of passing train wheels evenly across the sleeper, while the rubber pad beneath it absorbs vibration and helps reduce noise. Crews move methodically along the track, fitting each fastening set into position and tightening the anchor bolts with torque wrenches calibrated to exact specifications. This ensures every connection applies uniform pressure along the line. Once secured, the spring clips are locked into place, holding the rail tightly against the base plate while still allowing controlled flexibility for thermal expansion and contraction as temperatures change. With the fastening system fully installed, engineers move on to one of the most critical stages: track alignment and ballast tamping. This precision process determines how smoothly and safely trains will travel along the rails. A specialized tamping machine advances slowly down the track at an average speed of just 0.3 to 0.5 miles per hour. Equipped with dozens of hydraulic vibrating tines, the machine lifts the entire rail and sleeper assembly by 1 to 2 inches while simultaneously compacting the ballast beneath. The tines vibrate at roughly 35 to 40 cycles per second, forcing the crushed stone tightly together. This synchronized motion creates a dense yet flexible foundation capable of absorbing heavy impacts while maintaining long-term stability. Throughout the process, laser sensors and gyroscopes continuously monitor elevation, curvature, tilt, and alignment. Even deviations as small as 1/10 of an inch are detected instantly, and the system automatically corrects them to match design specifications. With this level of automation, a 1-kilometer section of track can be fully aligned and tamped in just 2 to 3 hours, more than 10 times faster than traditional manual methods. Once the track geometry meets precise standards, engineers proceed to the final major stage: rail welding. Two primary techniques are used: flashbud welding and aluminothermic welding. In flashbud welding, the ends of two rails are clamped together by an electric welding machine. A powerful electrical current flows through the joint, heating the steel to nearly 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit until it softens, melts, and fuses into a single continuous rail. In more remote or hard-to-access locations, engineers often turn to aluminothermic welding. In this method, a precise mixture of aluminum powder and iron oxide is ignited within a cast iron mold, triggering a violent exothermic reaction that can reach temperatures of up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat is sufficient to melt the steel and fill the gap between rail ends completely. Once the molten metal cools and solidifies, any excess is carefully trimmed away, and the joint is polished using a rail grinder. This removes ridges and surface imperfections, leaving a perfectly smooth, continuous rail ready for high-speed operation. With that, you've now seen the full rail installation process, from preparing the foundation and laying sleepers, to precise rail alignment, fastening, and welding, used by both American and Chinese engineers. Each approach has its strengths and innovations. Which one do you think is smarter or more practical? Share your thoughts and insights.